Now, I don't know about you guys, but whenever I build a website, it always goes like this. I build it, buy a domain, pay for some hosting service that costs like $5 to $10 a month, and then cancel it the next month. Because while it's cool having your own website on the internet, I'm not paying a monthly fee for something that gets mostly visited by data scrapers. But because I recently built a website that I'm absolutely proud of,
It's the biggest piece of dog shit.
And that I actually want to keep online, I set out on a mission to find the simplest and cheapest way to host a site permanently with virtually no monthly costs. Ladies and gentlemen, let me introduce you to the RPi website project, a one-command setup that uses Nginx and a Cloudflare tunnel to host your website and handles all the installs and security configuration, while also giving you a nice GUI for managing your files afterwards. And the best part, the whole thing runs on a $20 Raspberry Pi Zero. So in this video, we're going to go over how everything works, what you'll need, how it stays secure, what you should host, and most importantly, what you should not host on this thing. And of course, we'll set everything up step by step. But before we get to that, only around 2.3% of you guys are actually subscribed. That is better than the 2%, but come on, 2.3. So if you haven't already, please consider liking and subscribing. Thank you. Now, before we start, it is absolutely crucial to state two disclaimers. One, this is a hobby project, not a professional solution. And as far as I'm concerned, this thing might stop working in a few days because of some unexpected error, or it might run for a few years. Who knows? I want to keep supporting it, but there are no guarantees. And two, this solution is only meant for static websites. So something like a blog or a portfolio website that shows the same content to every user. If you want a website with user login and databases, this solution is not for you. But if you want to find out more about the details, just read the README on my GitHub project in the description. Everything is there. Now that we have that out of the way, let's talk about what RPi website actually is. Well, in simple terms, it is just a list of instructions packed into a single shell file that you execute, which installs all the programs and configures all the system settings you need to host your own website. The actual benefit is that one, as I already said, it is all packed into one command, and two, you get a nice GUI to upload all of your website files. The most important technology we'll be using is the Cloudflare tunnel, meaning that when a user opens your website, they communicate only with Cloudflare, which is one of the biggest networking companies in the world. This is essential because the most dangerous part is delegated to them. They take care of TLS certificates, DDoS absorption, bot filtering, caching, and many other things. Not my code. Cloudflare then sends the request through a secured tunnel to your network and to your Pi, which then prepares the files using the Nginx file server and transmits them back through the tunnel to Cloudflare, which finally delivers them to the user. There are many more security steps, but we'll talk about those during the actual installation. Now for the things you will actually need, we have the Raspberry Pi Zero with an SD card. The installation should also work on other Pis, but this has not been fully tested. But check the compatibility section in the GitHub repository's README file, because I might have updated it because some people have, I don't know, like reported that they managed to get it working on their Raspberry Pi 5 or whatever. On the software side, you will need a domain, obviously, and the website files themselves. HTML, CSS, JPEG, PNG, whatever you need. The rest we'll figure out along the way. Let's get into it. So the first thing we will need is actually the Raspberry Pi imager, which I will link in the description, just as all of the other resources that we will use in this video. And we'll use this software to flash the operating system onto our Raspberry Pi. Once we've downloaded it, we're just going to open it like so, and then take our SD card and our dongles, because I'm using a Mac, so I actually need a dongle within a dongle, and put the SD card right into it and connect it to the computer. Because we're using the Raspberry Pi Zero, we're going to choose it right here and click on Next. For the operating system, we'll be using the Raspberry Pi OS Lite 32-bit, because we don't need stuff like the graphical user interface, because we're going to control everything through SSH through our computer. So we'll click on Raspberry Pi OS Lite, go Next, choose our SD card right here, and then we'll just set the host name. I'll leave it at Pi. Here are some localization stuff. Just pick your time zone and your capital city and your keyboard layout. This is fine for me. And here we're actually going to set the password, which we'll then use to connect through SSH to our Raspberry Pi. So make sure you don't forget this password. And here, this is a very important step, because we wouldn't be able to actually connect to our Pi using SSH if it would not connect to a network by itself. This means that here we need to fill in the name of our network into the SSID field, and then the network's password into the password and confirm password fields. Like so. Then we click on Next. Here we need to enable SSH. I think this is done by default, so just click Continue. Raspberry Pi Connect we don't need. Click on Next, and now everything is done. Click on Write, and it will start writing to the SD card. Now, because the flashing takes some time, I will actually mention one security step, which is also in the RPi project. It is called UFW, Uncomplicated Firewall, which in our case blocks all traffic by default and only allows what we explicitly permit. On top of that, local network ranges, meaning devices on your local network, are blocked outright. So even with HTTPS allowed, the Pi cannot reach things like the router admin page or other devices on the network. Again, if you want to read more about other security steps, there is again a section for that in the README. Okay, the flashing has been completed, so now we can click on Finish, disconnect our SD card, and connect it back to the Raspberry Pi. And once that is done, we will actually take the cable and we will power it. When the Raspberry Pi is actually booting up for the first time, it takes some time. So in the meantime, we're going to create a Cloudflare account and do the necessary steps that we will need to do before we actually install our Pi website. So here we're going to actually log in. If you don't have an account, you need to create one. And once our account is created, we're going to go to domains and add our domain. And here we have to write the name of our domain. In our case, this is monkestan.org. Like so. We'll click on Continue. Here we select the free plan. And if you're doing this for the first time, unfortunately, you will also need to fill out your payment method, even though you will not get charged for anything. This is annoying, I know, but there's nothing we can do. And once this is done, you will see this page with DNS records. Just click on Continue to Activation. And here, this is a very important step because we need to change the name servers for your domain. This means that you need to go to your domain provider, if it's Cloudflare, Namecheap, or in our case, GoDaddy, and you need to change the name servers so when someone calls the website, it knows that it should call Cloudflare and not GoDaddy. So we'll go to GoDaddy, go to our domain, go to DNS, name servers, and click on change name servers. Click on I'll use my own name servers and copy these two in these two fields, like so. Exactly. And now we click on save. Click on continue, and now they have been successfully updated. That was the first part of what we need to do on Cloudflare, and the second one is actually setting up an API token. We'll need an API token because our installer will actually need to change some settings in your Cloudflare account. So right here in the top right, we'll click on Profile and then go to API Tokens and then Create Token. Here, click on Create Custom Token, name it something like Pi or whatever you want, and then we need to set two permissions. One of them is actually Zone DNS, and here choose Edit. And the second one is Account and write Tunnel and choose Cloudflare Tunnel and again Edit. That is all that we need to do. We click on continue to summary, we create the token, and now we'll actually get the token ID, which we will need to actually save. So open something like a text document, like a notepad, and save this ID into there. Okay, and now that we have that, there's actually one last thing that we need to do here in Cloudflare, and that is setting up the tunnel. So we'll go back to our dashboard, then go to networking, tunnels, and here we'll create a tunnel. We'll name it something like the domain or something, so I'll just name it Monkestan like this, create tunnel. It doesn't really matter how you name it. And here at the bottom, you need to copy this again. It doesn't matter what your operating system is. What we'll need is this ID again. So we'll copy it into our text file right here. And that is basically all that we needed to do on Cloudflare. So let's check if our Raspberry Pi is ready. To connect with SSH, what you would normally do is to go to your router admin page, but because this is not working here where I am, we will actually write the command ARPA into the command line, and we will see all of our devices which are connected to our network. And as you can see, we have the pi.home at this local address. Now we will write SSH pi at the local address that is right there. And then it should ask us, are you sure you want to continue connecting? Yes. And now it will ask us for the password that we set up in the Raspberry Pi imager. We'll fill that, click on enter. And now if everything was done correctly, we should connect to our Raspberry Pi through SSH. And as expected, everything worked and we are connected to our Pi. Also write the clear command so that the terminal is nice and clean. And now we can actually do the installation. But because the operating system that we installed doesn't have a Git installed and we need to clone our repository from GitHub, we'll need to install Git first. We do that by writing sudo apt install Git. We will again need to fill the password like so, and now it will install Git. Okay, now that Git is installed, we'll write clear again, and we can continue with cloning our repository. We do this by writing git clone and then the address of our GitHub project. But don't worry, all of these commands are in the description, so you can just copy them and paste them. Okay, now that we cloned, we can actually write list, and you can see that we have our repository on our local machine. We can now write cd our Pi website to open the repository and write list ls again, and here you can see we have 4 things. 3 files, 1 folder. The most important file for us is the install.sh, which is the one command that I mentioned at the beginning. Now, it is very important that we fill out the install command correctly because it will need to install with the parameters that we saved. So we will need the Cloudflare tunnel token, we need the API token, and we'll need the domain. We'll do this by writing sudo and then cf token, and then we copy our Cloudflare tunnel token. Then we write cf API token and we copy our API token. And last but not least, we write domain and we write our domain like so. Last but not least, we write bash and then install.sh and we run it. And as you can see, the installer has started and you will actually see what's happening line by line. Now, while this is installing, it is important to note that changing the name servers as we did from the GoDaddy ones to the Cloudflare ones can take some time. This means that you can upload your files, but when you open your domain, you might still see the same old website. But back to our installer, you can see that we're at step 3 and Nginx is now downloading and installing. Now that Nginx is installed, we are installing unattended upgrades, which is a very important app which should make sure that stuff like the Cloudflare app and even the Nginx app stay up to date. Okay, we are moving through the installer. We're now at step 8, step 9. And it is important to say that at step 10, the firewalls will be updating and also enabling. And at that point, you might actually lose the connection to SSH, which is to be expected. But in my case, it often looks like the installer has been frozen. But at that point, I just leave it be for like 3-4 minutes, and then I'll Control C and see that everything has been basically installed in the background while I couldn't see anything in the terminal. You will see what I mean. Okay, and now this is exactly the step. It's called enabling firewall, and at this point it basically freezes. So we'll let this be for like 2-3 minutes, after which we're just going to Control C, which means that it refreshes the terminal, and you will see that all of the steps after this have been done in the background. If it happens to you that at this point your connection gets completely disconnected, just connect again and then run the installer once again. It will skip all the steps that it has already done, and it should then not disconnect you anymore. Okay, so it has now been 3 minutes, so I'm just going to do Control C, and you can see that the installation has been completed. And now to actually upload all of our website files, we'll need these two commands right here. So we'll actually create a new terminal window and type the first command. We will again need to connect with our password. And once we do this, we can go to our browser and type in this localhost 8080, and you will be able to see the GUI. And as I said, at localhost 8080, we can see this GUI. You can see that the Cloudflare tunnel is active, and we are going to upload our website files. So in my case, these are, I think, 5 HTML files, and for pictures, we'll just hit upload. We might as well also delete this index.ng nginx debian HTML file. And that is basically it. Our website has been uploaded. That means that we can exit from our newly created terminal window and just close the terminal. But there's actually one more security step that I would actually advise you to do. So we'll actually open a new terminal window again, and on our laptop, we'll copy this first command into there. This means that we will not connect through SSH using our password anymore, but this key that will be saved on our computer, which is much safer. Okay, the key has been added, and on our Raspberry Pi, or what I mean is through this SSH, we will write these two commands into the terminal. We need to again write the password because we're using sudo. Okay, and now the last command, and now we should be much safer. Okay, so let's use our Nameserver lookup again to see if they have been updated. It doesn't seem that way, but we might as well try to open the website. So we write www.monkestan.org, and we still see the old website, which makes sense because the name servers have not yet been updated. So we'll give it a few minutes, and I'll check in with you guys when this has been updated. Actually, one more thing before we wait for some time, we can actually try to open the page in a private window, because sometimes when you browse through the normal web, the sites that you visit the most often actually get cached, meaning that even though the name servers might have changed, when you call the website, you might still for some time get the old page. So we'll just write www.monkestan.org, and you can see the new website. So it really was because of the cache. So now we have our website online. It's beautiful. I just love it so much. So don't forget to check in a private window. Good thing to know. So that was our Pi website. What do you think about it, guys? I think it's actually a very good tool to make hosting your website on something like the Raspberry Pi very easy. Using the Cloudflare tunnel makes everything very safe if you're using static websites with public information only. If you're doing that, you don't need to worry, because all of the requests and all of the content that is being sent from your Pi to Cloudflare and to the user is public. And if it gets leaked, then it gets leaked. It doesn't matter. It's what the user can see on the website. It's not private or sensitive. I will definitely be using it. Let me know if you will also, but that will be it for this video. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please leave a like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next week. Bye bye.